morning. I think I'm gonna go into town later today and film some coffee huts and talk to you guys about the significance of Alaskan coffee huts and why they're special. And I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I love Alaskan coffee. Not to knock Starbucks. If all you've had is Starbucks and you've never had like a locally roasted coffee, oh, it's amazing. All right, the first hut I want to talk about here is Sunrise. Sunrise is the only coffee hut we have here on base, and it's one of the few coffee huts that is actually somewhat of a local chain. So there are 8 locations between Alaskan, North Pole, and in town in Fairbanks. And this is the coffee hut that I worked at. My favorite thing to order there was the raspberry coconut refresher. It was strawberry acai refresher, which is like a juice, and then coconut milk and raspberry syrup. Delicious, heavenly. My favorite thing to order there in the whole time I worked there. Next up, we have Polar Espresso. I will say this hut bugs me because it says espresso, and here's a little tip for you. The word is espresso. There is no X. This is located in North Pole. It is open 365 days a year, and they have a discount if the weather gets below -50. It's 50% off all drinks, which I think is hilarious and very Alaskan. My favorite thing to order here is the French cream, which is a white chocolate mocha with vanilla and creme brulee. It is very sweet, and for an extra punch, I like to have it made with white coffee. This is technically green. It's a coffee bean that has not been roasted all the way. It actually has 2 or 3 times the punch of normal espresso, and it is delicious. It has like a nice nutty flavor to it, and I really prefer white espresso to just a regular shot of espresso, so I love it. This is another hut in North Pole. It also has white coffee. This is Mochalicious. I love the specialty drinks that Mochalicious offers. They have a lot of different flavors. The most recent time I went, I had a Hawaiian Winter. They also have a drink called Taste Like Christmas with 2 types of mint in it, and it is delicious. This is another place that has white coffee, also in North Pole, and they use Kaladi Brothers coffee, which is an Anchorage coffee brand. I know Sunrise uses a Seattle coffee company. Polar Espresso uses North Pole coffee roasters. The last hut is probably me saving the best for last. Bucko's is my favorite coffee hut in town. I can't always go all the way to Fairbanks to get coffee, but if I'm going into Fairbanks, you can pretty much count on the fact that I'm gonna have to swing by Bucko's. I love Bucko's. First of all, their customer service is top notch. The first time I ever went there, they gave me a free drink, which I'm not saying they're gonna do that to everyone, but they were just like, thank you for coming by. It's on us today. I hope you come back and see us. And honestly, the drink was so delicious that ever since then, I have been a loyal customer. They also use Kaladi Brothers coffee, which is, again, based down in Anchorage. And they are very similar to a Dutch Brothers coffee, which is a chain that is on the Pacific Northwest. I've never actually been to Dutch Brothers, but it is on my my coffee bucket list. Bucko's, I can't say enough about the customer service. Everyone that works there is so kind and so nice. And when they talk to you, you can definitely feel that it's more than just a customer service job. They really care about you and they're interested in what you're doing today, and I just love it. They also give a great military discount. My favorite thing to order here is a freeze. A freeze is similar to a frappuccino, but it's so much better. It has, it's basically a ground espresso powder that goes in with milk and ice to make this delicious frozen treat that I love. And it's definitely strong. I used to get larges, and unless I have a long day ahead of me, I have to slow it down and usually get a small. Another thing about Bucko's is I really trust the baristas there. Every time that I've been, I've never had a drink that I wasn't happy with. And I almost always, with these baristas, will say to them, I want this drink, I want the freeze, I don't care what flavor, just surprise me, and they always give me something delicious. Definitely my favorite coffee hut in town. Okay, there's a bit of a lighting change from this point on in the video, and I had a little wardrobe change. I was wearing my red sweater and I got a little overheated, so I had to take that off. So I've just got my cool gnome shirt on right now. There are so many reasons that I would rather get coffee from a local Alaskan coffee hut. The first one is I prefer to shop local. I like to shop local and buy local and support local economies and small businesses, and what better way to do that than with a great cup of coffee. I would rather have a small family run business get $1 or $2 more for a cup of coffee than to go through Starbucks. They don't really need my business. They're doing just fine without me. Again, I'm not trying to bash Starbucks in this video. I do like Starbucks. I do drink coffee from there, but I just prefer a cup from a local coffee hut. Another reason why it's great to try local coffee places is because usually they have different flavors. I just love to try new things. I love to go to a barista and just say, make me whatever your favorite coffee is, or I want something sweet. I love to just give a barista the freedom to make me just something fun and to get that opportunity to try a lot of new flavors. Another reason that I love coffee huts is it's a true Alaskan experience. When you're driving from Fairbanks through Denali National Park down to Anchorage, you even see coffee huts on the way there. And when you're driving around Anchorage, there's coffee huts everywhere there too. It is an Alaskan experience to go through a drive-through coffee hut. I don't know why they're so popular here. I guess because you don't have to get out of your car when it's in the negatives. Maybe that is part of it, but I just love it. And on top of all that, it's great coffee. So those are the reasons that I love coffee huts. They're great. It's something I didn't even know about until we moved up here. It's totally new experience for me, but it is one of my favorite things about Alaska. So as I mentioned before, I worked for a coffee hut for almost a year. I loved being a barista. Your job is to make someone's day better. Someone is coming through to get a cup of coffee to push them through their day. And coffee is a luxury. People don't have to drive through and get coffee. They can make it at home or they can do without. But you know what? People choose to because they love that customer experience, and I loved being a part of that. I tried to make every customer's day better. I loved the idea that they could ask for a soy vanilla latte and I could deliver that and make sure that they were happy with it before they drove off. And I like the idea of a concrete. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for, and it's not based on personal opinion. It's not based on this or that. I know when I was teaching, I always felt that I was doing what was right for my classroom and right for my students, but fellow teachers or maybe even parents may not agree with that. But with this, it's so simple. You ask, you place your order, I make it, and your day gets better. And I loved that aspect of it. I typically enjoy customer service jobs, and this was no different. I loved being a barista. I really enjoyed my time as a barista. I will say there are a few things I learned to help me be a better customer in my time as a barista. So the first thing is to not be afraid to ask questions, but to also know that your barista might ask you questions. And that's not because they're trying to aggravate you or take up all of your time. It's just because they want to get your order right. They want to make sure that what they're making you is exactly how you want it. This is something that as a barista would drive me crazy, but then I catch myself as a customer not being very good about this. So the first thing you want to tell us is what size your drink is and if it's hot or iced, because I need to grab that cup so I can write in the little boxes what you want to order. When you give this like long elaborate order and then at the end you say, oh, 16 ounce. Well, then I'm like, oh crap. So I have to go through and remember every little thing you said and fill it in on the boxes, whereas it's just easier when you're going through to get drive-through coffee, tell them your size first and if you want it hot or iced. That just makes it easier. But like I said, I forget that all the time. So if you forget, no big deal. Another thing is, I'm might get on my soapbox here for a minute, everyone. When you're dealing with a person in customer service, so if it's retail, if it's a restaurant, if it's a drive-through, just look at people. Look at them in the eye when you talk to them. It seems so simple and it seems so silly, but I can't tell you how many times customers would drive up and be on their phone or be turned around and I couldn't hear anything they were saying. Those coffee huts are loud. We've got microwaves going, espresso machines going, we might have water running, we might have the cash register dinging. So if you're not looking right at me, I can't really hear what you're saying. So when you drive up, just make sure, I mean, even if you need to wait a minute, you know, even if you need to be like, hold on 1 second and like fumble around for your change. But when you go through a drive-through, guys, or when you're dealing with anyone in customer service, just look at them. Just make eye contact with them. They're human, you know? And hopefully, because they've chosen this customer service job, they like people and they want to make eye contact with you and they want to connect with you in that way. So it sounds so silly, but just look people in the eye. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people would come through and they would be ordering like this and I'm like, I can't hear anything you're saying if you're turning away from me to talk. Ah! The last tip is probably obvious, but it's really just a tip so that I can tell you a funny story. Don't throw things through the drive-through window. Don't throw things in the hut. One time I was standing at the bar making coffee. The customers on each side of the window knew each other, so they were talking, and this guy says, "Oh, I forgot you left this in my car," and he chucks this chapstick through the window. But he doesn't make it all the way through because of course he didn't. It's really far. Instead, that chapstick pegged me right on the butt so hard. It hurt so bad. So don't throw things in the window. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my little synopsis of how to be a good customer and why I loved being a barista in some of my favorite coffee huts in the area. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe leave me a comment, maybe share it with your friends, or subscribe to my channel. And hi to all my new subscribers. It is the day after I posted my video sharing my story about my miscarriage, and all I can say is wow. Just thank you guys for being so supportive and so warm and so just kind about that video. I was so nervous to post it. I guess my thoughts immediately went to, I didn't want anyone to think that I was posting it for attention or for sympathy. I just know that it's such a hard thing to go through, and I don't want there to be this weird stigma about when things happen, you can't talk about it or you have to hold it down. Because I know for me, when I'm grieving, getting it out is the best thing for me. I did have a super sweet friend come by yesterday and bring me some flowers, which I thought was just so sweet. Ooh, got some sweet people in my life. I'm so lucky.